The next lesson that we've learned in our 7 years of marriage is proper conflict resolution. This is so important, and it was a huge thing for us because if you don't have proper conflict resolution skills, a level 1 issue,
life is gonna be hell,
bruh. A level 1 issue will become a level 10 issue for no reason at all, just because you guys just don't know how to talk to each other. And a big thing that we've learned is timing is very important. A lot of times when you're upset, it's so easy to just go to the person at any point in the day and just be like, hey, I'm upset about this, and you should have did this, and this bothered. And yeah, like you're just word vomiting. But something that we've learned is, okay, I don't know what's going on with him right now in this moment. I don't know what type of day he had. Let me actually go and ask him and prepare him for the conversation. When two people are going into a potential abrasive moment or a moment where there can be a lot of friction, prepared, that will change the whole game when it comes to conflict. So something that we'll do is we'll say, babe, I have something I want to share. I'm a little bothered right now about something. Can we talk about it today at some point? Let me know what time works for you. And that can prepare the other person to go into the situation knowing, okay, this might be a little bit of a hard conversation, but let me prepare my heart, let me prepare my mind so that I can be loving, so I could be present, so I can be intentional. And whenever we do that, our conversations are just so easy, you know, because both people were prepared.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'll also say just being slow to speak and really measuring your words is also very important. Because when you're frustrated and you're angry, it's very easy to say something the wrong way. It's also very easy to say something that you actually don't mean or to misspeak. And those moments can be very damaging because then it can make the other person feel like, dang, am I even safe to share how I feel with you the next time around?
Yeah.
And conflict is such a good opportunity for you guys to grow.
And to connect.
Every single time me and Elijah have had conflict, it's actually been an opportunity for us to become more united and more intimate with each other.
Understand each other more. And we've grown a lot because of our conflict. Just doing it well and making the other person feel safe is such a big deal and has made our marriage so sweet. Definitely. And I feel like there's so many little small things, like small tweaks that you can make in communication and in conflict that make a big difference. So like something that we try to do pretty consistently now is in conflict, instead of hearing what the other person says and then immediately responding, like if the first thing that you do with your response is to communicate back what that person said, to make sure there's understanding first, it like helps them feel understood, right? It can also give an opportunity to clarify so that there isn't any miscommunication or there isn't any extra tension added because you feel like someone's taking shots and you just misunderstood.
Right.
You know, and then that also gives you time. If you're thinking about what they said and you're reiterating it back to them, then that gives you a second to process further maybe how you feel before you give a response, you know, a full response.
That's really good. And then another piece too is like, just don't be dismissive. Don't dismiss your partner and their feelings. A lot of times when you feel like someone is coming at you or saying something about you or your character or whatever it is, will become defensive. And I think the key there is to not then turn around and dismiss what your partner is saying so that you can feel better about the situation. I think being dismissive is really destructive because then it can make the other person feel like they're being gaslit or like what they're saying isn't valid or doesn't hold any value. And you just want to make sure that you're really weighing what they're saying. And no one's saying that you guys might all the way agree all the way, but I think just making the other person feel heard, feel seen, feel loved, and understanding how maybe whether it was intentional or not, your actions could have triggered something in somebody.
Yeah, that's good. I'd say I think one of the big lessons, especially when it comes to conflict resolution, that our therapist talked about all the time was that the goal of conflict is not always resolution. And I think that was very interesting to me. It's something I need to hear because I feel like I'm such a task-oriented person. It's like, all right, if we're gonna have this conversation, there needs to be a resolution and we need to be able to open the conversation and close the conversation. And that's it. And like I've had to learn
that instead of trying to resolve the conflict, let's just connect throughout the conflict.
Yeah.
Like if the goal is just to understand and the goal is to connect and to make sure that we hear each other's hearts instead of just trying to finish the conversation or make sure that the issue is closed. When you try to connect through it, it's just a better process.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
And like, I know personally, like if we sit down and talk in the past, like if we sat down and we talked for an hour and a half about an issue and the problem still wasn't resolved, I was so irritated.
Yeah, he gets
I was
so
like,
irritated.
all
Because
this-
what are we doing?
All this time and we haven't come to a conclusion. I'm like, what is this? And like, it just brought me peace knowing, hey, that wasn't the point.
Right.
Like the point wasn't to start and finish. Like the point was, are we closer? Do I understand my wife more? Do I understand like the things that build her up more? Do I understand the things that annoy her more? Like all of those things. Yeah, understanding each other on a deeper level.
Yes. I love that so much. Another lesson that we've learned is not to judge your partner. Sometimes as women, I think that we can deal with feeling like we're better than our partner, or we might hold contempt in some ways. A lot of times what can happen is we have a running list or a laundry list of all the things that our partner has done in the past. And then we don't actually let it go. And what ends up happening is our partner can't actually measure up because they're fighting this whole list in your head that they don't even know that you haven't all the way let go of. And I think that's really important because scripture says love holds no record of wrongs. It's so key for us to actually be able to let things go and really just trust and believe like, okay, you know what, we're moving forward past this. And I think that was something I did very early on in marriage. Like I struggled with that a lot. Like I would just have this running list against Elijah, and then it would come out in the way that I would talk sometimes. And it wasn't until one time he called me out on it, like, bro, you talk like you're better than me. Hey, it sounds like you're coming off a little judgy or judgmental. And that was really hard for me to hear, but I really needed to hear that because it made me realize that, oh wait, I actually do that. And I actually do believe that. I had to actually confront that. I was like,
That's why I'm smiling because I was like, I'm pretty sure you responded because I think I am.
I literally had to actually
In the
confront
conversation,
that. I was
yeah.
like, wait, I actually do think that I'm better than you. And that was very early on in marriage. That is not the same at all now.
Yeah.
So I'd be thinking Elijah better than me. I'm joking.
It's not healthy either way.
It's not healthy either way. I'm totally joking. You guys can get to that point of, oh, wait, no, we're equals. You know, we're both human. We both make mistakes. And you can actually just see that soberly when you're not holding a record of wrongs against your partner.
Yeah, definitely. That's really good. I think what I've seen is that if you do judge, also what can happen is there starts to be a lot of assigning.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you judge, then you hold on to these things and it's now like, even if maybe that's not something that someone does consistently, like you've attached this label to them. And then so it's like when you attach a label to a person, every single little sign that you see that may not even be that thing, you can attribute it to that thing. And it's like now they're that type of person.
Yeah.
Or they're that type of person. And it's hard for someone to be seen in a positive light when
Right.
you've assigned a negative label to them.
That's so good. You will start to look for ways to actually prove your belief about this person. And that's very dangerous. So when you have the heart of contempt against your partner or a heart of being judgmental against your partner, that's exactly how it'll play out. When you actually start to believe the best about your partner, which is what you should be doing, you'll look for ways to support the belief of, oh, he's actually, like, even if he does make a mistake, oh, it wasn't intentional. Oh, he's not that kind of person.
Right.
It's because he had a hard day. And I think that's the posture we should have towards our partners.
Definitely.
That's
And
really
there's
good.
nuance to that because sometimes you just got to call it out, hey, you're inconsiderate. That was inconsiderate, or you're selfish or whatever. Like there are certain times where you got to like label the thing.
Right. But the way that you would word it so that your partner could receive it would be, when you did that thing, it
This
made me feel you know, so if the
inconsiderate, whatever
thing
it
is
is,
like, say you have a partner who you feel is selfish, the right way to word that would be, hey, when you didn't take out the trash and I ended up having to do it again after saying it to you the 50th time, like that made me feel inconsiderate or made me feel like the things that I bring up to you aren't important. And I think that's the best way to word it, because then you're not putting something on that person and you can create the space for them to explain, hey, this is actually why that happened. and you're not assigning something to them, and then they feel like they're already fighting a losing battle because you already done called them selfish before the argument even started. Like, that's not productive.